Hello guys, so today we'll be taking a look on a scenario when the Western Europe went to war with the Central Europe. Okay, now let's get started. Okay, so here is the map. So as we can take a look at closer to the map, we can also see that there's a lot of country joining on this war, which I kind of include the only the Central Europe countries and the Western countries. And also, disclaimer: this video isn't real and it's not to offend anyone. So yeah, that's it. And also, in this video, I kind of add some countries to the Central Europe, but I'm not sure if Poland is also in the Central Europe. But I'll let you guys comment down below. Okay, now let's get started. Okay, now in the start we can see that German force started to push through Belgium and capturing Luxembourg. And from the north of Belgium we can see that the Netherlands started to push from the north as well. And taking almost half of Belgium. And also at the south we can see that the Italian force started to push through French forces and continue pushing through the country. And now, since the French force are mobilized and they start to make an offensive. At the south, we can see that a lot of French force started to push the Italian troops out of their country and almost kicking all of them out. And at the north, we can see that a major part of the French troops has crossed the Belgium and French border and now starting to liberate the Belgium and completely taking all the coast back. And also, I forgot to mention that we can see that UK has kind of left the European Union, but yeah, we're just gonna add it to the war because it's kind of fun. Okay, with now more Portuguese and Spanish force, with also Ireland and UK started to make a landing in France, and now they start to be sent to the border. As well, we can see that there's campaign pushing through Germany, which now alert the German government to send more troops to the border of France and Germany. And also, the UK kind of sent a naval battle to attack Denmark. Okay, so now we can see that the UK has made some small landings in the northern Denmark and starts another one and continue pushing and made a major front line. Seeing this, force, the Germans sent their troops to Denmark to help them push back the UK. Okay, and now as we take a look back at the south, we can see that the Italian are completely kicked out of France, and the French forces start to make some small campaigns to the country, and also they start to make a major campaign into Switzerland. Well, also this is kind of tough for the French force because the Switzerland kind of made it a defensive, and yeah, if the French force cross the border, then all the bridges will be exploded by the bombs that the Swiss planted. Okay, so so here's what we have so far, and yeah, so let's continue with it. Okay, now if we take a look at the small countries over here, we have Poland. I'm sorry, Poland isn't that small, that weak. It's kind of strong, and also Czech and Austria. So now they start to send their troops to help to help push the front line. Okay, now let's take a look the at Belgium. Okay, with some more Polish plus Austrian, Czechia, and the Netherlands and German force combined, they've started to push back the French and Belgian force, and yeah, completely pushing and completely taking all Belgium territory, and now starting to push to France. With this, France started to take their force and started to rearrange them and putting them to the north of the country. Okay, now with all the French troops mobilized, they were able to push them out of the country and kind of liberating a little bit of Belgium. Sorry. And continue pushing and liberate and guarding the coast, all the Belgian coast. Okay, as we take a look at the sea, we can see that Italian forces start to mobilize and push into Corsica. And eventually all the French forces are there surrendered, and a lot of them kind of escaped to sea back to their mainland. And now the Italian force started to threaten Spain's island. They eventually made up some landings at the islands, and which made the Spain force start to send them to protect their islands. Okay, now take a look the at the north. We can see that the German force started to push all of the UK and eventually kicking them all out. And now with this, French forces and with the help of Ireland and UK and Portuguese and Spain, they were able to completely push to Belgium and liberated Luxembourg. And now they start to push, making some naval landing at the north of Netherlands and pushing to the border of Belgium and Netherlands. And they've now taken all the Netherlands coast and continue pushing through. With this, Germany started to take a major part of the troops back to the front and protecting the Netherlands from falling into the Western hand. And now, since they're here, they've made a push and liberate some of Netherlands land back. And well, yeah, since they were doing this, French force started to push to Switzerland, Italy. They've made a second campaign through Italy and trying to advance to the country and continue pushing to Switzerland. And now they both made a big front line here, and which then Switzerland surrendered. And now they have contact to Austria, which they've got a plan. The the western part of Europe plan was to separate the central, and taking on them separately. But first, they've got to take the islands and control the sea, and cutting off at Italy sea access. So with this, Spanish and Portuguese and French troops started to make their offensive to the islands. They are able to liberate the Spanish island and Corsica, and now threaten the islands of Italy. And now they've kind of made a small landing near Rome. I'm sorry, but yeah, if it's not near Rome, my bad. And yeah, okay. So now we can see that here is all what's happening, and yeah, while all these countries is not particularly strong, like French, UK, and other countries like that. So this war is kind of long, and now some countries are weakened. And soon we can see that Italy is being kicked, their ass kicked by French force, and the Netherlands is getting wrecked. Okay, so let's take a look at the German and French border. At the border, we can see that the Belgium forces are mobilized and continue pushing through Germany, and also some of Netherlands. With this, well, now the German made a plan to let Austria and Italy focus on the French at the south, and while Germany and Poland do it at the north. And now we can see that more French forces start to kick into the border and continue to push them. And with this, more German forces started to leave Netherlands to control stop the French force from advancing into the country deeper. And now, since a lot of the German troop has left Netherlands, yeah, the western side to push, and eventually Netherlands falls. With this, the UK has made their focus on Denmark and started landing and continue pushing. And now we can see that a lot of Denmark land has been captured. Seeing this, the German force had no choice but to make another made a risky plan. If that they were able to use all of their team's power, their strength to push through France and cutting off the force in Netherlands, Belgium, Luxembourg, and a bit of France, and continue to push them and out the sea, and a lot of majority of the troops are gone. So with this, the German force, Poland plus Italy, Austria, and Czechia pushed it, made a spear push and continue. They were doing good and also were able to push to capture all Luxembourg and continue pushing through Belgium and France. This plan goes well, and also since a lot of their troops will move out, the West, the West Europe started to push to Italy. They made a major offense to Italy and were able to split off the country into two. And now we can see that, yeah, and the landing of Sicily was made, and the whole island was captured, and now pushing to the south of Italy. And now Italy has surrendered, which this the German has only hope, has the only hope is to cut off the blue team so they can able to wipe out a majority of the force. And now, yeah, it's almost done, but then a major disaster happens. The French force knew what they're doing and then cut the supply line. And since almost all of the red team force are literally here, and now they're all wiped out, and a lot of the portion of the red team army has been wiped out. Seeing this, since um, French force started to push through Austria, the country decided to surrender to peace, and which this flowed through Czech. And now we have the surrender of Denmark and a major push through Germany. And which now we can see that the only remaining strong team of the red team are only Poland and Germany. And soon after Germany collapsed, and the Polish force were no match for the blue team, and the push continued, capturing Warsaw and the surrender of Poland. Okay, now here we have the end of the war between the West Europe and Central Europe. And I'm also sorry for every time I keep saying Eastern Europe. And yeah, and also this war has been going for a long time, so everybody is suddenly starving, and a lot of the military are literally gone. So now let's check out the peace treaty. Okay, so here we have the peace treaty, and we can see that a new country has been formed. The Benelux, a new country has been formed, and also Luxembourg and Belgium were able to take some a piece of Germany land. And look at the French border. We can see that France taking a piece of Germany and half of Switzerland and a small piece of Italy as well. At Denmark, we can see that the UK has taken some of their coastline at the north, and the island of Sardinia was given to Spain. And yeah, here we have the end of the West and Central Europe war. And also again, this video isn't supposed to be real, and also not to offend anyone. This video was also made just for fun. And thank you guys for watching till the end of the video, and don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button, and we'll see you next time.